Hello guys, in this video we're going to learn about SQL injection and a very powerful tool Sqlmap that is used to attack the SQL vulnerabilities in our website. So here we have a vulnerable website that is already vulnerable to SQL injection. In case you don't know what is SQL injection, there are vulnerabilities that arise when an application is trying to fetch data from the database, and a malicious user is able to inject malicious payload that affects the database, and he is able to query access information that he shouldn't. So in this website we have, as usual, you always need to see the different features of the website, browse through the website to see different attack scenarios. So here we are able to see that we have a request. We are able to note that our application uses PHP language because of this extension, and here there is a parameter cat for category, and we are passing an integer of 1 to get products probably under that category 1. So seeing this as an attacker, you know that a number of vulnerabilities might arise, since the web application at the backend passes this input and processes to list for us the products under that category. So we are going to pass in an apostrophe or the single quote, which is one of the best way to test for SQL, since it will interfere with the SQL syntax. And we are able to see that we have an error in our SQL syntax, and this is a good indication that there is or might have a SQL injection. So to simplify this, instead of manually trying to exploit this, there is a great tool, Sqlmap, that comes with Kali Linux. If you have Kali Linux, in case you don't, you can always install it through sudo apt install Sqlmap. Since in this case I have it, we don't need to install, but you can also, in case you're on another distro, you can check out how to install it on your operating system. So now that we have Sqlmap, there are a number of things we can do. We would like, most of the time an attacker would like to know the database information, or which database tables are involved in this. So Sqlmap has a help option with a -h to list the different options that come with Sqlmap. And for the basic, you have the option to provide our URL that is vulnerable, that we anticipate to be vulnerable. All we need to do is Sqlmap -u, then we paste our link. Remember to remove the apostrophe or the single quote mark, since Sqlmap doesn't like that. So yeah, we are able to see that connection was succeeded, and Sqlmap was able to exploit the vulnerability, and we are able to get some information about our target website. It's running on Ubuntu. There's an Nginx and PHP version. Then on the back end we have the MySQL being used. This shows us that there is indeed an SQL vulnerability, and we have some and we are provided with some payloads, or some SQL payloads that we can use to confirm this. So our next idea would be to see the databases that are in the application. Again, you can do SQL map help to see the command for listing the databases. It is to enumerate the databases EBS. So all we need to do is run our SQL map command, but this time with the DBS option. And what Sqlmap will do, will try to fetch the database names, fetching the database names, and we're able to see two database. One is the default information schema, and we have a database here that now will be of interest, since this is what we need to see, or we need to look into. Having found our DB, we can do Sqlmap help again to see other option. There is this option to enumerate now the database that we need, and as we enumerate the database, we need to enumerate the tables in that database. So we need to use these two options, or these two enumeration options. So back to our command again. Instead of listing the database, now we'll be using our database, which was just copy this. This is our target database, and we need to list the tables. So to enumerate the tables in that database, so we provide this dash tables option, and we are able to get 8 tables from the database accord. We got 8 tables, here they are. We even have a users table under that database. So we can look into either of now these tables, and how we do that, it's back to our Sqlmap help. I'm showing this so that you can always reference how to enumerate the database, how to enumerate the tables. And after getting the tables, we need to enumerate the columns to be able to know the list of columns, or the columns that are in these tables. So back to our SQL map command. We are targeting the database, and this time we want the table users. There was a table users, and we need to enumerate the columns this time. So let's see what Sqlmap is able to get, and we are able to see there are 8 columns under the table users, which is under the database accord. So here the columns, we are able to list the columns. Now that we got the columns, we just need probably to dump now what's in these tables, now that we know the columns. And we'll go back to our Sqlmap help command, see how to an option that can help us see what's noise in this table is this column dump, which dumps database table entries. So we just need to provide the database, the table, and and then it will dump for us. So we did see we might need to see the users names. So what we need to do is table users, then the column, provide the column name. It is the column to enumerate name, then we need to dump that. it's fetching the columns name for table users. So this tool is so helpful to automate the SQL injections which we might have needed to do manually. So we are able to get a user mouse from that database, and in case we needed to see the password, this is the column password. So we just need to change that to password, and we see the password is test. So we have been able to show the database, show the tables in that database, show the columns in those tables, and dump the values of the of the dump the values of the dump the values of these columns or whatever is in these tables. So this is a powerful tool, but remember to use it with caution, not on website that you're not authorized to use. So there's also an option to list everything instead of listing one column, which is to dump all database tables entries. So with our database, can try now to dump all and see what we get from this. See, it's trying to fetch columns, retrieving, and this will take some time depending on the size of the database and what will be found in the database. So that's how a Sqlmap is powerful, and that's how we can use it to make our work easier. You see, it will try to even crack the password that it comes across. It's now trying to, so that it can show you the encoded or the hashed values in clear text. So that's, see, we're able to see different tables and the different values in these tables. So that's it for this video. Cheers guys.